Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. This lady dug her grave when she decided to insult and yell at our OP. Now, she definitely doesn't get the parking spot. Good job on her. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss a new video every single day. Didn't let my neighbor use my parking space. My apartment complex has assigned spaces, and mine is right near the entrance. This is perfect because I'm disabled. Last year, I let a neighbor borrow my spot for a few months because her daughter broke her leg. Her spot was only 5 spaces down from mine, so unless I was having a very bad day, I could walk it fairly easily. We just had to let the complex manager know what was going on, so there was no ticketing or towing. Another one of my neighbors is going in for a C-section in 2 weeks and wants to borrow my spot. This problem is that her spot is across the lot and would be hard for me to walk. Plus, she's been rude to everyone. She's told me that I'm not disabled, I'm lazy. She yelled at my husband for stinking up the entire building when he was taking the cat litter to the trash. I've asked other neighbors and they said they can't smell anything. I have litter robots so it scoops automatically and we take the litter outside every other day. She says that since I traded spots before, I should again. Both instances were valid medical issues, but I like the first and don't like her. Plus, I couldn't easily get to her spot on good or bad days. This is the price rude people pay. Don't let her bully you into inconveniencing yourself. You owe her nothing. And our second story. But I need formula for my baby. Are you sure? I've worked in a supermarket for 10 years. You get your share of Karens, and the only thing you can do is smile politely. But what I even hated more after an 8-hour shift and having to close up the supermarket were the customers who came in 5 to 10 minutes before closing and just do their shopping like no one wants to go home. There was a time that I was scheduled every Friday closing shift and pretty much every Saturday closing shift. The store closed at 8. We weren't open on Sundays then. Also on Saturday, we had to take out all the cash drawers and manually count all the money. We could start doing this when all the customers had left and the front and back doors were locked. So customers coming in 5 to 10 minutes before closing time and taking their sweet, sweet time to shop were hated. Hated with a passion. My shop had a procedure. We would barricade our entrance and turn our front door on, only opening when people wanted to leave the store at about 5 minutes before closing. We would remind customers at 1:45, 10:10, and 5 to closing time that the store was going to close and please go and pay for their groceries. Normally, we had very few incidents. This one, however, is burned in my memory. C equals colleague, FM equals formula man. It was a Saturday. As head of the cashiers for that night, I had the honor to make or break the day of our beloved customers. I had to deal with my fair share of Karens, male and female, and I just wanted to go home. So I follow the procedure, ask one of my fellow money handlers to set the front door and stay there to handle any customer. At 2 minutes before closing time, a man comes running to the door. My colleague asks what he needs and reminds him that the store is going to close and he won't have much time. He says he just needs formula. Since I was busy with a customer, she let him in. Guy gets a basket and goes into the shop. Since he said he needed formula, we thought he would be in and out like Roadrunner. Nope. No, because FM didn't need formula. At 8:05, FM is seen at the cheese section of our store. 8:15 at the wine section. What the heck does he need that for? What kind of baby does he have? Several of my colleagues have gone to this man to get him to the counter. He scoffs, huffs, and says that he's a paying customer. My fellow money handler was the last one to go to him, and that's when he went too far. He yelled at her, cussing at her, and making a high school student cry. Now I'm pissed. So I do what I always do in these situations. I take off my store shirt, put on a neat jacket I keep in case of emergencies, and put it on. You see, when you have the store outfit on, you're often seen as a lesser being. But behold, I change my outfit and suddenly I look like management and my word is all powerful. The real manager sees this happening, pops out a huge grin, and goes to the back to watch from the security cameras. So I don the magical outfit and go to FM. I tell him in no uncertain terms that the store's been closed for 15 minutes and he's been asked multiple times to go and pay for his things. He starts to huff and puff himself up like the big bad wolf. I'm a 5'2" woman and people think they can intimidate me. I told him that he was only allowed entrance since he said he needed formula, so I give him a choice. He could go now and pay for the things in his basket, or I'd take the basket from him, grab the formula he claimed to need so much he could pay for that. He could choose not to do either, and in that case, security would love to make his acquaintance. Either way, he would leave now. He tried. Oh boy, he tried to threaten and intimidate me. He failed. He left with his cheese and wine and many threats to call corporate. The next week he came in again. This time he encounters me at the door. What did he need? Formula? So I brought him to our service desk, went inside and brought out a single pack of every kind of formula we had, asked him which one he needed. He didn't say a word and left. Don't mess with our closing times. And our next story. Karen gets arrested. This happened a while back, but I can't resist posting to Reddit. I was a 14-year-old male, but was 5'11", 6 foot while wearing shoes. I went to a local grocery store with my parents that let's just call A-Mart. It's a huge store, almost like a Walmart, and the employees wear black polo tees which say, "How can I help you?" As usual, me and my parents entered the store and split up to get our separate groceries. I was picking up some miscellaneous food items like chips, pasta sauce, sausages, etc. I'd found some chips in a flavor that I liked, but not the brand that I wanted. The current brand's chips would have had a weird aftertaste, so I put the chips back on the shelf. Here comes a woman in maybe her late 40s or 50s asking me why the ready-made pizza rolls were so expensive. I told her I didn't know and that I don't work here. I can kind of see why she thought I was an employee. I was wearing a Black Panther shirt, which was mainly black. As soon as I said I didn't work here, she screamed, "Don't try to fool me! I know you work here!" Me, while shocked, I don't work here. I'm just a 14-year-old getting groceries. A cashier from the front came and asked us what was wrong. Let's refer to the lady as Kay from now on. Kay said, "This employee assaulted me and refuses to help me." The employee, dumbfounded, says he doesn't work here. He then turned to me and asked if I assaulted her. I explained the situation to him, and he had a look on his face, something like, "I don't want to deal with this crap right now." He just tells the lady to calm down, then goes back to the registers. The lady then throws a tantrum and runs her hand through the shelves, putting a bunch of food boxes on the ground and breaking several bottles. The cashier called the cops, like any sane person would. I just stood there in awe. The cops arrived while she was screaming at me. I don't even remember what she said. We both were made to sit down while they looked through the security footage. Turns out Karen had been shoplifting and was caught putting several items in her handbag. When the cops tried to cuff her, she socked one straight to the face and her nose started bleeding. I don't know what happened next because I'd gone back to shopping. Cashier told me that she was charged with assault, larceny, I think that's what it's called, and vandalism. Not sure what happened to her. From what I understand, this is a common shoplifting tactic. Grab some stuff, then make a scene so that the staff can't wait for you to leave. And our last story. Lady wants me to pay her medical bill, or she'll sue. To start off, my husband owns our home, if that matters. We've received a bit of snow lately, which needed to be shoveled. I shoveled the sidewalk in front of my house, my driveway, and the stairs leading to my door. I also laid down ice melt. I ordered a lot for Christmas and wanted to make sure the postal services had a clear, safe path to my door. So I heard this lady screaming outside my house the other day. I went out to see what was going on and found her in the middle of my yard on the ground covered in snow. It was clear she'd walked across the yard, ignoring the path I shoveled, and fell. She starts claiming she slipped and now her ankle and leg are busted. I tell her I'll call 911 for an ambulance, but she begs me not to because she can't afford it. So I ask her if she wants me to take her. She tells me no, she'll take herself. She tells me she's just going door to door looking for donations for families in need this season and how it's ruined now. I really did feel bad and offered her my children's coats from last season and some canned goods. She declined, limped to her car, and left. She refused to let me help her at all. I get a letter this morning from this lady. It's a handwritten letter that states, paraphrase because it was a very long letter, that I'm required to pay the medical bill for the slip she had on my property, that I was an irresponsible homeowner that didn't properly ensure visitor safety by shoveling my yard. She concludes her ramblings by demanding $11,000 for the medical bill, or she'll take me to court and demand $50,000 for the medical bill, emotional distress, and fees. I'm unsure how to handle this. It feels like extortion to me, but at the same time, going to court is an expense that will really hurt my family right now if she's not bluffing. My husband thinks we should just blow her off. I think that might be unwise. Quick update for anyone interested. We got a knock on the door this morning. It was the lady, and she was sporting some crutches. Apparently my shoveled path works now. She asked if we were going to pay her. I told her no. We would wait for an official letter from her lawyer and let the courts handle it. She tried to argue, saying it would be easier to just write her a check or Venmo it to her. Still told her no. So she asked for whatever was in my wallet to make her go away. I laughed, my husband laughed, we threatened to call the cops, she decided to leave. My husband's going down to the police station right now to report this situation. We don't expect anything to come of it, but just in case she decides to do this again, they'll have a heads up. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.